Okay, part 3 to eating disorders and CPTSD. Now, in my last video, I said that not every single person out there who winds up with an eating disorder has had trauma. Okay, there's genetic factors, like I said, and sociological conformities and conditioning that we've had to adhere to for a few decades now that can lead to an eating disorder. But I really wanted to touch on the CPTSD factor and the trauma, because if you look at an eating disorder, it's nothing about eating. Okay, so this applies to people who've had trauma, obviously. These are maladaptive coping strategies and mechanisms in order to emotionally regulate. It's why eating disorders are quite prevalent in people who have borderline personality. So CPTSD looks like borderline personality. They're a little bit different, but they both have the emotional dysregulatory factor. So when we look at anorexia, it is somebody that is literally looking to control everything around them in their environment that's chaotic, so they learn how to control everything within themselves. So they don't eat, and it actually calms them down. It brings them emotional regulation. Again, maladaptive coping, not normal, but this is what makes them feel in control, because they are trying to control a chaotic environment that they can't control. And it's also a way to punish themselves if they are not feeling good enough, or they're self-loathing and they've made a mistake and they can't cope with those emotions, so they punish themselves by not eating and restricting food. It's a way to self-punish. That is very, again, indicative of borderline behavior, right? If you look at bulimia, it is the binge and purge cycle. Binging gives us euphoria. And so therefore you get a flood of dopamine in the brain. And then once that euphoria is gone and you've stopped disassociating because you've just literally eaten a disassociation, eat. And then all of a sudden you are flooded with immense guilt, immense shame, immense self-loathing, and self-hatred that you have to go purge in order to emotionally regulate, to get back to feeling calm and okay and get rid of those yucky feelings along with all that food. So that is over-exercising, laxative abuse, diuretics, and vomiting. Then you look at the binge eater, and they're just filling an emotional void. They're eating and often disassociating heavily. All 3 eating disorders you highly disassociate in all of them. Again, it's coping with painful trauma. It's a way to emotionally regulate something that they had no control over. So they are doing it through maladaptive coping strategies through food. Again, sociological factors play a huge role into this, right?